Hi, I'm Hannah Caldas, and this is FSM RX.
Hey guys, welcome to FSM RX, and today I'm here with Hannah Caldas from Crossfit Anywhere. Hannah is a 4-time regionals athlete, 1-time games team athlete, and is a pro athlete on the grid with the Baltimore Anthems. Hannah, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So Hannah, for a lot of people, you're over in Ireland now, you're doing a lot of traveling, you're over in Ireland, you did a workshop last night here at FSM. It is bitter cold.
Yes, not used to this.
Yeah, yeah, it's a bit too cold for Hannah. But you did a workshop last night, and you're doing a fair few workshops around Europe. But before we get into that, I just to let people know, you've been doing this quite some time. You are now a paid professional in the grid, and if people don't know what the grid is, there will be a link below to a grid video and the grid website. But you've let's just get a little bit on your stats. So just to show people exactly how strong you are in comparison to a lot of people that think they're strong. So, for example, so you can snatch, like, let's go through a few. I'll just pick out some lists and you just try me out some.
So I've snatched 100 kilos once.
Okay.
It's not a lift that I'm consistent with, 100 kilos, but I've done it one time, so that counts.
And clean and jerk?
Clean and jerk, 120 kilos. I have a much better clean than I have
jerk.
Well, my jerk actually is not too bad if I jerk from the blocks.
Yeah, okay.
But if I have to put together a clean and a jerk, then not so much. But 120 clean and jerk, I do 138 kilo clean, so almost 140. And
okay.
I
jerk. That's more than most guys I know in Ireland. That's a lot. So that's pretty still like that's.
Yeah.
Amazing. Back squat.
I love back squat. So 180 kilos is my back squat.
Okay.
And front squat, I don't know in kilos, but in pounds, I front squat 350 pounds. So
140, 150.
Yeah, 150 maybe. Yeah.
So
I like to squat.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite.
I hate squat. I'm working on it, but my goal is to get a better squat this year. So for a lot of people, like they're very impressive numbers. And how long have you been like strength athlete?
So I've been doing CrossFit or functional fitness for about 5 years now. This is I'm into my 5th year, so the 5th year is not quite done yet. And when I started out, I was swimming full time, which made me very light, very lean. I trained for about 6 hours in the pool, in addition to what I did at the gym, so it didn't really allow me to build too much strength at that time. So for about 1.5 years of the time that I did functional fitness, I swam. And once I stopped swimming, it just kind of, I think naturally, I am built to be a little more powerful and to develop quite a bit of muscle. So that we got along really well once that happened, and then my strength just started skyrocketing. And so I'm stagnated now. So if I want to make gains now, it's like everybody else. It might take me a couple of years to get like a few pounds or a few kilos, but it did happen a bit quick once I stopped swimming. So naturally developed into a strength power athlete, and kind of found my niche in there. And I really enjoy it. It's something I really like to do.
And I know we were talking about you and Dominic were kind of touched on it yesterday. We'll go into it a little bit with body image, but before that, like you're known for grid, you're a barbell specialist, but you're also teaching gymnastics workshops. So which is a kind of like not controversial, but like you're either generally it's one or the other. You either do barbell work and you're good at barbell work, but like I was at your workshop last night, and all our members were here, and guys from other facilities, and your attention to detail on gymnastics is probably higher than a lot of people I know when it comes to teaching, especially like I'm a coach, Sarah's a coach, and Dave, and we like we took a lot from that. Just
Right.
go, just the little intricacies you've added, or you really focus on. It's not just, hey, just jump in a bar and go for it. It's
Right.
break it down into like 4 or 5 different steps
Right.
and work on that. So being a power athlete with the barbell, and then being like very good at gymnastics. Like,
Yeah.
how did that come about? Because you said you only been in gymnastics a while. Like, it's
Right.
not. You
So I
haven't
never
really
did
focused on
gymnastics
it?
before. Yeah, you know, a lot of people have done gymnastics when they were young.
Yeah.
I wasn't one of those people. So I had to learn gymnastics as an adult. I had to learn gymnastics as I was learning to the barbell, honestly, because I didn't do barbell either. You know, I was a swimmer and we didn't really lift weights. We swam.
Yeah.
So everything was new to me. But what really struck me with gymnastics is, as a bigger person, you know, I'm 5'9". I have really long arms. That's what made me a good swimmer. So gymnastics gets tough.
Yeah.
I'm also really heavy. So I don't know what system you use, but I weigh about, you know, at one point I weighed 200 pounds, which is really heavy.
Yeah.
I'm upwards of 85 kilos right now. So well over 185 pounds. So that's heavy. And having to learn to do gymnastics that way, it became very blatant that I can't do gymnastics like a gymnast.
Yeah.
Or I can't learn gymnastics as a gymnast. You know, maybe eventually I can get into that, and that's kind of one of the things that, you know, as I was teaching butterfly pull-ups, it's like I don't want them to end doing them the way I'm going to start teaching you.
Yes.
But I want you to
reverse
right.
just to teach them the actual the movement of it.
Yeah, and so a lot of it comes from experience, you know, of me during these 5 years being exposed to really good coaches on all kinds of levels, you know, good general CrossFit coaches.
Yeah.
You know, I worked with Blair Morrison, who was one of the original guys in CrossFit, been to the games 3 times, a lot of experience, you know, and I have the chance to work with him on a daily basis and learn a lot from him. And so all of my combined experience over 5 years and having to learn to really catch up with everybody that has been doing gymnastics made me, and having the time, because I do this full time, so I have the time to really spend and trial and error, you know.
Yeah.
So I learned from what worked with me, what didn't work with me, and then I'm very analytical. You know, I used to be a college professor, so I taught at university. So I'm very analytical with what I do, and I really want to understand why it works. You know, if it works, and a lot of it is trial and error, I want to know why. So I'm very into the mechanics of the movement.
And that will also make you a better coach, because you can then break it down. You see, like the difference of caliber. I wouldn't say caliber for our clients, but there was different levels where some guys were getting it,
right,
and some guys who were strong weren't getting it,
right.
And it's not a strength problem; it's a technical problem,
right.
And though, like we even even you said, you've seen people kind of move better. Even when we did like kind of 10 snatches and the 10 cleans, you've seen people move better just from sit back more.
Yes.
Dip
yeah,
more.
just the really simple things.
Yeah.
And basically what it comes down to for me is the basics.
Yeah.
You know, even at an advanced athlete. I've worked with, you know, some of the workshops that I do, I have some, I would say, elite level athletes for, you know, some of the countries I go to, they would be maybe the top athletes in that country. And, you know, they have experience. They can do things. They can do most of the movements. But polishing that movement will be a great deal for them. It'll make a huge difference in what they're already doing.
Yeah.
And they'll be a lot more successful. But, you know, it comes with the person already knows how to do the movement.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're resistant to taking a step back and analyzing something that is really fundamental.
Yeah.
You know, they think that they're beyond that point, but when they do, they're really glad they did it.
And that's the sign of I suppose a really good athlete who can take criticism, can take that, listen, you're doing it really well, but you can do it better. Right. And like if you're an athlete going around saying, oh, I'm the best and I'm perfect, then you're going to get handed to you because you're not willing to learn from someone else telling you, hey, what about this? Now, it mightn't be something you'll use, but it's something you can take on board.
To know, especially if you are a coach. And a lot of athletes are coaches.
And more tools in your toolbox.
Right, exactly. So it's always good to get a different perspective and to, you know, I never try to say that I know everything.
Yeah.
I know a lot of coaches that do that they feel like there's nothing else for them to learn and that they're they're it.
Yeah.
And you know, I try to stay humble, both as an athlete and as a coach.
Yeah.
And there's always something that I can learn, even from someone that may have less experience than I do. You know, so I think, and that's one of the things that I really enjoy doing these workshops is I get to meet the community.
Yeah.
I get to meet people all over the world, different perspectives from everything. You know, the sport, the movements, the technical aspects of things, where the sport is going, you know, what we want to do, and even, you know, as people, like how we are and how our lives has changed with doing what we do today.
And that's like you are traveling, and you've traveled, you've been to South America, you're heading to, like, you've another seminar in Ireland today, then you're going to Portugal. And so
Belgium, a few places here in Europe. I've been to Europe quite a few times, so that's actually where I started this venture, and it started basically as a hobby, and it's developed into pretty much my job today. You know, I still coach back home. I don't coach as much as I used to because I want to have the flexibility of taking off and doing one of these trips. But at times in the summer, especially, I might travel for 6 weeks at a time. You know,
that's brilliant. Like it's
it's really enjoyable. I really
kind of go around and
see the world, meet people, and you know, hopefully impact some people. And I know I have in the past. You know, I'm not trying to say what I do is amazing, but I know it has changed people's.
Well, you have, like, we had, like, I know, like, last night we one guy that was kind of not really done CrossFit, that was Derek, and then we had two of his clients.
Right.
And they didn't even know what kipping was.
Right.
They walk in, they're like, what's this? And just like kipping, they couldn't get it because, like, I think Dermot just did strict pull-ups. Gemma doesn't do pull-ups because she's not strong enough yet. And they were learning kipping. And then I was asking them at the end, and they were like, that was just, it was brilliant. And so their awareness now of that movement and stuff like that has kind of got them, all right, that's something I kind of want to work on. And
it's one of the things that I try to do is when I do a workshop, I try to make it accessible to people of all levels. And even if you don't get out knowing how to do the movement right away, you at least will have the tools so that you can go back
to work on it.
And you know what to do
like
to get
Tarek
there.
with his handstands. And like, I think more of our guys that have kind of limitations or weaknesses took so much more away to work on. And hopefully most of them will work on it. Like Tarek will work on it because I won't work on it. He won't get away with that. So like you're traveling, like you've traveled around, you've kind of impacted, like, so that's a huge thing. So you're people kind of look up to you because you're kind of a high level athlete, and you're also a very, very good coach. You're traveling around, you're meeting all these people in the community, which obviously CrossFit has helped grow. The CrossFit community is unbelievable in that aspect. So you're inspiring people. Has anyone ever said that to you before?
Actually, there was a recent article on a magazine called Box Pro Magazine. And I think the title was Traveling Trainer, like inspiring the world or changing the world while being changed by it. And I think that's very accurate, you know. I hope I am changing bits of the community, and from what I see, I think I am, you know. It's definitely changing me because it's making me grow as a person. It makes me grow as an athlete. It makes me grow as a coach because every time that I have the chance to work with people that I've never worked before, and they're people that might come from a different culture, not just, you know, culturally speaking, but speaking within the sport. You know, they come from a different coaching style, different coaching cues, and it gives me the chance to, you know, look at the person, how they move, analyze their movement pattern. And when I do a workshop, usually there's about 15 people that, you know, it gives me a lot of experience, and it really makes me grow as a coach. And it's so, to me, it's a great opportunity to do both, to change myself and to hope I can change other people also.
And your Instagram followers just jump after every seminar, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Everyone start following you. But yeah, so like going back to, so you're kind of, as you said, you're helping people, you're inspiring people. It's a really cool thing, and I think anyone that coaches gets to do that on like different levels. Like if you're traveling the world, you're meeting like an abundance of people every time. So on this trip alone, you'll meet like a couple, like well over 100, maybe, 100, 200 people, and you'll impact them, and like, again, hopefully your goal is to impact them in a positive way. So they're getting from you something positive, and as you said, you're getting something back. And every coach has a level of, like, they're working with, like when I work with my clients, and where like our goal is to impact and to not necessarily to go, the mission isn't to inspire, but like you are inspiring because people can see, right, you're doing this, you are, and I know it's stereotypical, but you are a woman,
right,
but you're a woman that lifts weights.
Yeah. And that is a taboo in a lot of places,
yeah.
you know, and I'm from Portugal originally, and that's a place where it's still, you know, I don't want to say backwards, but it's still a little more antiquated.
Yeah.
And, you know, like my grandmother, every time I go home, is like, look at those muscles, you know, you need to lose, you'll never get a man that way, you know, like that kind of thing. And it's like, you know, we kind of need to get over that.
Yeah.
And, you know, in general, if we're talking about people in the fitness community, they'll, I think, overwhelmingly agree that a woman with some muscle tone is way more attractive than someone who doesn't do anything. So I think, and in general, a woman that lifts, and I'm not trying to say someone that lifts as much as I do, but someone that works on lifting, their quality of life is going to change because they're going to be more independent. And that's usually a good thing, even though, you know, you always think women shouldn't be independent. You know, a lot of men think that. But you know, we can do things, you know, we can lift things, we can, you know how heavy I am traveling on this trip.
I've lifted her bags. It's pretty heavy.
And, you know, like I'm going to have to take a train ride where I'm going to have to pick that bag and put it up on something. And if I didn't lift, there's no way I'd be able to do that.
Exactly.
And,
you'd have to ask
a
gentleman or a man for help.
To do something like that, you know. So it makes me, you know, take on the world a little better, I guess.
And it breeds a new kind of found confidence in women, because we see it, like our facility is predominantly female, and we see a confidence in the women that do lift.
Right.
And I'm sure you've seen that in the seminars, and even the athletes you work with, like you've been to the games, you've seen like people throw down immense ability, and their confidence and body image is another thing. I know you and Dominic were touching on that a little bit yesterday in your conversation. But body image for women, it doesn't have to be stick skinny, and it's not about, if you're proud of what you've achieved, you're proud of your body, and it doesn't necessarily have to be what society says you need to be, this kind of stick skinny model,
you need to look
as size 0. It's no, I'm really happy with, and that is more, you're more confident that way, and I think you're more positive, and then life reacts to you better if you kind of be able to brush off. So I think the body image for women with weights, and you would have seen it a lot more than I do because you've traveled more.
Right. And it's different from country to country. You know, it's interesting to see how different cultures will impact body image for women. You know, in some countries it's more of an issue than others, and I think overwhelmingly women are accepting body image. They're accepting that they could be a little different than what traditionally a woman has looked like.
Meant to be according to
society. So overwhelmingly they accept that it's okay. It's just that in some areas the community is quite not there yet, and so sometimes they have a little more of a hard time, and they may have a relapse, you know, if you can call it a relapse, but some doubt at times. But that's the beauty of the community, is a community, we support each other. And so when those moments happen, there's always someone there that is going to tell you it's okay, you know, and you're accepted. You know,
exactly.
So as I know a lot of people call CrossFit a cult. So if we're going with that definition, it's like
cool.
you just
But every cult would say
can
that
turn
as well.
back to your cult, you know, and your cult is going to get you, and you're going to be fine. And so, you know, I think little by little we're changing the world because CrossFit is not going anywhere. And it keeps
still getting
spreading.
bigger.
It keeps spreading, and it's spreading in a good way. It's spreading to you know, people that used to really dislike CrossFit are warming up to CrossFit.
A lot of the naysayers and people that would like kind of tarnish it a little bit and just go straight at it.
The reason they were that way was ignorance, you know, because I noticed that a lot of times when I have a discussion with people about, you know, people that are negative towards CrossFit, is they're negative because they don't understand it. It's something that, you know, they might have watched a YouTube video, or they watched something online, or heard someone say something, and it was a negative experience, and that's what's going to stick out to them. And then, you know, I try, not all the time, because sometimes I don't have the patience.
Yeah.
But as much as I can, I try to explain to people, you know, the process, and that if you walk into a CrossFit gym, it's not going to be the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Yeah, and a lot of people, I think that's kind of offsetting a lot of people, because the YouTube, like years ago when you YouTubed CrossFit, like when it was a garage.
Yeah.
And it was outdoors.
And that's
it was
the CrossFit
crazy,
that I really like.
Yeah, and now YouTube, it's like the finals of the games, and there's these girls or guys jacked up, throwing weights around.
Amazing athletes.
I am so not doing.
I mean, what people don't realize is that those people, they're full-time athletes, you know? It's kind of the same thing as, like, if you're thinking about, you know, I'm going to talk swimming because that's my sport. If you're thinking about starting swimming and then you look at the Olympics, it's like, oh, there's no way I can do. I mean, you can swim, but you're not going to be able to swim like that or that fast or anything like that. So it's just natural as with any sport.
But even on the side of that, it's like generally a lot of people like to watch swimming at the Olympics. Like, so Rio's this year, and a lot of people are going to watch swimming, and there's going to be amazing events, and some guy will win like 7 gold medals. And I'm like, he's so inspiring. He's in great shape. I'm going to go learn how to swim. And they know that they can't. And they know they have to go through a process. But with CrossFit, it's like I have to go. I think they still have to think they have to go in and trot it around. Whereas like, no, we're going to start you with a PVC pilot. We're going to...
And every movement in CrossFit is scalable. And that's the beauty of it. It's like anyone can do it. And one of the big movements in the United States right now is the adaptive athletes. You know, people that might not have an arm or a leg, or, you know, people with other types of disabilities that would otherwise be excluded by the majority of sports. And, you know, CrossFit is the complete opposite. It's like we welcome everybody, and everything that we do is adapted to your level of ability. And that's what I think, that's one of the things that sets CrossFit apart from the majority of other sports.
And other fitness, and like I know, like where CrossFit, it's kind of grown into, like, now the weightlifting community is more welcoming. The powerlifting community is more welcoming, and obviously people say, well, we're always welcoming, but no one knew of you, and kind of you didn't know about Olympic lifting, you weren't an Olympic lifter, so why, I'm not going to spend all my time. And it was very rare to find beginner clubs where beginners could rock in
and really learn. And it is amazing what it has done for the weightlifting community. I don't know what it's like here in Ireland, but in the United States, for example, they hold the American Open every year, and that's a competition. It's kind of the step down from nationals. And historically, there have been like A-B session, A and B session, and this year there was a J session. You know, and the majority of it, it's like people that started lifting because they learned to lift at CrossFit and they enjoyed it, and they went back to a weightlifting club. So the membership level of United States weightlifting has gone dramatically up.
But even when I did my first lifting competition, there was, I think, maximum 20 lifters, all in, male and female. Now it's a 3-day event. And like you said, like just like Friday night, Saturday, and now that we have to set qualifying standards, because we can't let everyone just enter nationals. But but 90, I'd say at least 60% of those new athletes are CrossFitters or were former learned about Olympic lifting from CrossFit. And it's still like, I know weightlifting artists are trying to kind of grow the community and put a lot more into it, but there's still, I think, in my opinion, and I've spoke to the guys, so they know, if they're watching, they know my opinion on this, and they still have a lot of work to do. There's a lot, too much red tape, I think. And there's always someone going, well, this is the way we do it. I said, just if you do the same thing repeatedly, it's
going to fail the same way.
Don't expect a different outcome.
You always have to be open to change, and that's how we move forward, is by making changes. They don't have to be dramatic changes, but small changes here and there are eventually going to take things in new directions, and most of the time is what we need to do.
So now on to the main. So she's wearing a grid hat, so she definitely does grid.
I'm not just a fan. I am a fan too.
So the grid is going. This is its 3rd year.
It'll be this 3rd season. For grid.
You're in the Baltimore Anthems.
And I'm in the Baltimore Anthems.
And there's 8 teams currently.
Correct.
There's no news of new teams this year.
No news of new teams. I think they're keeping it the way it is until we have like the correct formula, so that we can grow.
So the grid is, for people that don't know, the grid is a fitness league. There's 8 teams. There's amateur teams around the world, and Ireland has the Celtic Fire. Alan Fitzpatrick. He'll be happy I gave him the shout out. So with the grid, it's a paid sport. So you can, if you're good enough now, you can get paid. athletes can be specialized. Like you're the barbell specialist on your team. You're also you're the masters athlete as well, is it?
Not yet. No, I have a couple more years, but in a couple of years I will be eligible to be the masters athlete. Yeah. But every team needs to have a male and a female masters athlete. Well, in grid we don't call them masters, we call them 40 plus.
40, okay.
Yeah. So a 40 plus athlete needs to play every match.
Yeah.
One male, one female per team.
Now I know it's hard to explain CrossFit to people. I think explaining grid is a little bit harder, so I'm going to leave it in your capable hands. So what is the grid?
So the grid, it really is a racing sport.
Yeah.
It's really a spectator sport. It's something that's really enjoyable to watch because it's fast-paced, it's fun, it has a lot of different skills that, let's call them normal people might not be able to do. You know, I hate the term normal because there's nothing normal about anyone. I don't think anyone's normal. You know, everyone has something special about them, and that's what makes us individuals. But you know, you'll have very high level skill gymnastics. You will have on the barbell. There will be very fast cycling of heavy weights. You know, it's particularly impressive for women. You know, the kind of weight that we're moving and how fast we're moving them. But for the guys too,
Even like the way you were showing us how to cycle the barbell. And even Chad, who's Celtic Fire, knocked 4 seconds off his time.
In
which
10 reps.
is huge.
Right.
For like seconds are huge in
grid. But in grid especially, everything in grid happens really fast. Every match in grid lasts 2 hours. So that's it. And within those 2 hours, we do 11 races. We start out with 5 athletes, and 7 are playable per match. Obviously, our roster's a little bigger than that, so you know, we'll have our 5 starting athletes. Always, the 40 plus is always in play. It never gets out. It always has to be there. And then we have the 2 substitutions that we're allowed. Some of the rules might change, you know, like one of those things we're kind of like trying to find the right recipe.
It's a new sport as well, so it's a new, like, it's going to be obviously changes coming around the corner, like plans to make it more efficient and stuff like that. You're learning as you go, really.
And every race has the same format. The movements change, you know, so like every race one is going to be a partner forward. You know, if I'm going to explain every race, I'll be here for a long time. So grid is actually easy to understand once you know the rules. So if you follow through an intro to grid, then it becomes a lot more enjoyable because you know the format, you know what it's supposed to happen, and then you can actually focus on the show. Because that's what ultimately ends up being. And one of the big differences between grid and CrossFit is that we're co-ed. So men can compete against women. You know, obviously the barbells will be with different weights, but we will race men and on the same footing. You know, it's not like men separate from women. So that's a really different thing. And then we have the substitution. So, for example, in my case, I will probably go. Exactly. And so how you tag and when you tag, it's a lot of strategy in that, which makes it.
And you have your coach, like I know like the coaches
on the side. We have multiple coaches. So you know, we might have a line coach that stays in the start line with us, and then we have the main coach making all the calls that goes up and down on the grid.
He's telling you to go back and tag if he sees that you're kind of breaking down.
You know, like we might have plan A and plan A doesn't pan out, and we have to have a plan B and sometimes a plan C. So we know exactly what to do, and we don't go into like you fail a lift and then you are stunned. It's like, oh, what do I do? Do I try it again? Do I, you know, in grid, it's you fail it, you get out right away because chances are you're going to fail it again. You know, and we have plenty of fresh people back there that can do.
Well, that's it. Like guys are resting while you. So if you like wearing like CrossFit, you have to. If you're even if you're on a team, you still have to like you might have to complete a certain amount of reps before you can. Someone else can take over for you. Which can,
on a team. So usually you have an assigned number of reps, and so. The sport of grid, there's never a dull moment. There's always something happening, and it happens really fast, and so that's why it makes it so much fun to watch.
And we'll have, I'm going to post a video link to the grid for anyone, a highlighted video, so you can check it out, and because it is a good sport. So for Hannah, so we're going to wrap things up, because I know we've stuff to do, stuff to do today, and I have stuff to do today. But so for guys looking to find out more about you, they can follow you on you have an Instagram account, you're on Facebook. So guys, there was a little glitch there. As you know, the camera was chopped there and we started again. So as we're wrapping up the show, you can find Hannah on
Instagram,
Facebook.
XFit Hannah, double N, H at the end. And then on Facebook, I have an athlete page, Hannah Caldis.
Yeah, so definitely check out Hannah, follow her, and like her on Facebook. Her links again will be below, so you only even have to type it in, just follow and click and like. And you'll see this woman hit some really impressive lifts and do some really cool stuff with a barbell and gymnastics. So Hannah, you are off to CrossFit Navan today.
Yep.
And then you're going to travel into Portugal and see some family and chill out and spend
work
time
again.
with you.
I have 9 workshops in Portugal.
9 workshops in Portugal. So if you are, obviously we have a big fan base in Portugal. If you're watching the show, make sure you get to a workshop. Maybe one day we will have a fan base.
Who knows?
But so Hannah, thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me here.
Yeah, and guys, again, upcoming, we've a bunch of shows lined up, so make sure you subscribe to YouTube and check us out on Instagram. Hey guys, if you enjoyed the show, head over to our YouTube channel, FSM RX'D, where you can subscribe and get all the latest shows from FSM RX'D and Coffee Topics. And guys, don't forget to check out all our latest shows, subscribe to the channel, and share with your friends. Check out FSM on social media. Just go to Facebook, FSM Bray, give us a like, contact us. You'll see all the latest information on events, articles, and latest goings on of all the clients, members, and what we do here at FSM. Or you can head over to Instagram, fsm.bray, hashtag us, give us a like at FSMRX, and again you can see all the fun, silly, and downright strong things we do at FSM.